My name is Damiano Coletti. I'm a partner at United Ventures. We're a multi-stage venture capital firm based in Milan with approximately 500 million euros of assets under management across 4 funds, 2 of which are active. So the Italian ecosystem has evolved quite a lot, actually, in the last 10 years. We're actually one of the first institutional venture capital firms in Italy, so we've been there from the beginning. And those funds actually have already started to deliver impressive returns. So we've already had many success cases from our portfolios, which have managed to, as I said, generate returns. And that cohort has also given way to a more mature ecosystem with more and more talented tech founders and companies wanting to start their businesses in Italy. And we're happy to and proud to be a part of that ecosystem. So I think the role of the VCs is just as important as also the institutional investors and the European and Italian market has been able to facilitate for these markets. The fact that there is institutional capital coming in for more funds to be raised and for GPs with a specific skill set to go and help those portfolio companies. And by helping those portfolio companies, it's helping them internationalize. So many of our companies which started in Italy needed to go and raise more capital in the US or in the UK, or look for exit routes where the market was not yet ready here locally in Italy to absorb them. We help them make the next step. And what we like to say often is we invest in Italian founders and global companies. So I'm actually really happy you asked that, because the fund that I manage on a day-to-day basis is actually one of the first and only early growth funds in Italy. So we're able to write a Series B check where 10 years ago that was science fiction. The companies can now in Italy get access to larger tickets with investors that can lead the round, and then once it gets to Series C, D, and we're looking for larger kind of exit opportunities, then you might have to go abroad. But now the ecosystem is such that it can actually stomach more of these opportunities. So as a challenge from a fund perspective, I definitely think that interest rates have really been a strong headwind in terms of the ability of fund and GPs to raise capital, because of the obvious opportunity cost that means for different kinds of LPs, whether they be pension funds or what have you. And that's definitely had an impact. Also, the shocks to the public markets, where these pension funds have therefore a larger relative exposure to the private markets, in, I'd say, the past 18 to 24 months has had an impact. That being said, there is still, I think, opportunity for more strategic capital to be for strategic sectors, or where there is a particular importance for industrialization of certain parts of the economy to get capital from. Just in terms of sectors in general, as United Ventures, we have a few key pillars to our investment strategy. One is doing things before they were obvious. So what does that mean? That means digitizing undigitized solutions. We invested in fintech before you could spell fintech in Italy. And an example of that is one of our portfolio companies, Money Farm, which is a very successful robo-advisor, which has been able to scale both in Italy and in the UK. But there are other sectors, particularly solving the big problems, which require, important technology to solve large problems. Today at the conference, we've heard about, climate tech. We've heard about, these kinds of large problems that require real technology. You're not going to find a lot of marketplace, e-commerce kind of offerings being able to solve these things. So we invest in semiconductors, cybersecurity, we invest in space, and broadly looking at technology that has an impact for these kinds of problems. So out of the pandemic, obviously there are a lot of trends of technologies that got a lot of tailwind. One company in particular that comes to mind that we invested in, and we're very happy with, a very strong founder. It's a company called Futura, and they're an ed tech startup with tremendous traction and tremendous growth. Cybersecurity is another one. So with dramatic increase of the need for solutions like online banking, instant transfers, where this could be during the pandemic, but it was also something that was coming, and it just had a push from the pandemic. We have companies that focus a lot on making sure that the internet is a safer place, and that can be not just the internet in certain companies, but also making sure that devices are safe as well. Where there's a lot of things going on remotely, it opens up an opportunity for hacking or a breach of security. And so making sure that those systems are safe and secure, both at a firmware level within the device, as well as at a session level when you're using a platform, these are sectors which we have been heavily invested in. We're one of the largest, not the largest VC firm in Italy, so we obviously have a strong Italian angle, but we are not limited to Italian companies per se. We've invested in companies which are based in the UK, Israel, the US, but we do like to have an Italian angle because we want to be able to support with our vast Italian network, and so we position ourselves that way. We're fundraising. So we recently announced the close of our fourth fund, United Ventures 3, which is an early stage fund based in Milan, as I said. We've got roughly 100 million in commitments so far, and we have a target raise of 150 million, and that raise is open until Q3 next year.